Hello students, we are going to discuss the topic of cross-border alliances. We are discussing cross-border alliances in the context of international human resource management. But before we talk about human resource management issues in cross-border alliances, we first of all would like to know what cross-border alliances are. सादा अल्फाज में क्रॉस बॉर्डर अलायंसेस ऐसी फर्म्स हैं जो कि मुख्तलिफ कंट्रीज से बिलोंग करते हैं एंड दे कम टुगेदर मीन्स अलायंस एंड दे अलाई टुगेदर टू वर्क फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ ईच अदर. So partnerships which are across national borders, they are called cross-border alliances. That is the simple definition of what cross-border alliances are. But the academic definition of cross-border alliances is that these are cooperative agreements between two or more firms from different national backgrounds which are intended to benefit all partners. So it could be two firms from different countries or two or more from two or more different countries coming together and making a cooperative partnership which is supposed to benefit all the members. You know that because of globalization, yes, that's the word, globalization, that is our main reason behind internationalization of the firms. And globalization has led to a number of international dynamics in business. And one of these dynamics has resulted in cross-border alliances. Now, there are a number of ways in which these cross-border alliances can be formed and they can operate. There are equity modes of cross-border alliances and non-equity modes. And then there are other which are a mixture of equity and non-equity modes. Now, let us take a look at what are these different modes of making cross-border alliances. All right, so non-equity alliances are those partnerships in which it is an investment vehicle in which profits and other responsibilities are assigned to each party according to a contract. इस तरह की पार्टनरशिप में आप अपनी लीगल एंटिटी जो है उसको मर्ज नहीं करते. दोनों फर्म्स की लीगल एंटिटी सेपरेटली रहती है, विच मीन्स दैट अगर आपको फॉर एग्जांपल बैंकरप्सी हो जाती है या लॉसेस हो जाते हैं तो आप एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के बियॉन्ड उन लॉसेस को बेयर नहीं करेंगे. अगर एक फर्म की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में ये है कि that firm is going to share, let's say, 30% of the profit and not the losses, the responsibilities then are on the other firm to share the losses. So, जो entity है, जो उसकी existence है firm की, वो आपस में merge नहीं करती, it remains separate. And both the firms, they separately operate as a legal entity. And but they work for some common benefits. So इसकी एग्जाम्पल ये हो सकती है कि फ्रेंचाइज या फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप लाइसेंस दे सकते हैं. सो जो लाइसेंसिंग कंपनी है, जो लाइसेंस ऑब्टेन करता है, उसकी जिम्मेदारी है कि उसने फर्म को चलाना है, उसको प्रॉफिटेबल बनाना है. और अगर फर्म फ्लॉप हो जाती है तो लाइसेंस देने वाली कंपनी का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है कि वो जो लाइसेंस लेने वाली कंपनी है उसके लॉसेस को बेयर करे. लाइसेंस लेने वाली कंपनी जो है वो लाइसेंसिंग कंपनी को कुछ फीस या एक प्रॉफिट में शेयर या जो भी उनका आपस में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तय होता है, जैसे कि हमने बात की, अकॉर्डिंग टू अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे आर सपोज्ड टू पे देम अकॉर्डिंगली, but they will not share the legal responsibility. So that is a non-equity alliance, and each party cooperates as a separate legal entity and bears its own liabilities. The second mode of forming alliances is equity alliances. Now, equity alliances is the opposite of non-equity alliances. And in these type of alliances, you go for sharing all the profit and losses of the organization. So it means that you get merged together and you become one new entity. All right. So equity modes involve a foreign direct investors purchase of shares of an enterprise in a country other than its own. So it could be done in three ways. It could be greenfield investments or acquisitions. It could be mergers, or it could be international joint ventures. What are these three different types? We are going to discuss it in later topics. And then merger and international joint ventures, they involve long-term collaborative strategies, including HR practice. So when you merge together, when you are forming a new entity, then you have to make strategies for all aspects of your business, because your profits and losses are all going to be shared together. So you need to operate as a single entity. And therefore, it is going to be a long-term collaborative thing in which you make strategies, including human resource strategies. All right, so in this diagram, you can see that there are different forms of equity and non-equity modes of foreign operations. You can see that the white boxes are equity modes, and the light blue boxes are non-equity modes, and the third dark blue box is the other forms of cross-border alliance. So you can see in the white boxes, there are mergers and acquisitions, then there are international joint ventures, and thirdly, there are subsidiaries. You may remember from your previous topics what subsidiaries are, and we are going to discuss in next topics what are joint ventures and mergers and acquisitions. A small discussion on the non-equity modes of alliancing, because later on we are not going to take them up separately. There could be subcontracting, in which there could be offshoring and outsourcing. Now, offshoring and outsourcing, they are kind of similar concepts. Outsourcing में आप ये करते हैं कि आप किसी बाहर की कंपनी से services purchase करते हैं. This is also a type of offshoring. Offshoring is a larger concept. But offshoring is particularly when you make your facilities in another country, for example, production facilities in another country. For example, Nike used to get its products prepared in Pakistan because of low labor costs. That is offshoring. Then you can go for franchising. Franchising is mode of non-equity cross-border alliance in which the franchising organization, it takes the responsibility of setting up the entire management system of an organization. तो जो franchise provide करता है वो आपको पूरा business setup करके देता है. Whereas licensing is a lesser intrusive form of cross-border alliance in which the licensor provides the license to operate under the logo of that licensing organization, but they do not interfere in the day-to-day activities or the management of the organization. And then there could be management contracts in which the organization can provide management facilities to a firm in a different country. For example, this is very much common in the hotel industry. You may know the name of Pearl Continental, which is a chain of hotels held in Pakistan under the umbrella of Intercontinental Hotels. So the management is provided by the Intercontinental Hotels, but the legal entity of Pearl Continental Hotel is restricted to Pakistan. So that is one example of management contracts. All right, so these are the different types of equity and non-equity modes of cross-border alliances.